Hey, Cascade Hoops Talk, this is Billy D. Hey, today we have Richard Westerlund. He's the head men's basketball coach, UNOH. They are the Racers. He's a fun guy to listen to. You're going to enjoy it. Hang on, because Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Cascade Hoops Talk, produced in the shadow of the beautiful Cascade Mountains and bringing the world NAIA basketball. One podcast at a time. Hey, we had Coach Westerlund on last year. We talked a little bit about the Racers. He said they were going to be improved, and they definitely were. He's bound and determined he's going to get them to the next level this season. But regardless, a couple things you know about these Racers. They're going to play hard, and they're going to guard you. The joke, and we say it during the interview, but I've kind of stolen this line. I got it from Scott Moore that the Racers, they guard so hard, they guard fans going to the concession stand. It's a fun brand of basketball. Coach Westerlund is a really fun conversation, and I think he's going in the right direction. He's plugged some holes, and should be an exciting year for the Racers. Let's take a listen to Rich Westerlund. I apologize, Coach. UNOH Racers. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. I got Richard Westerlund on the phone. He's the head men's basketball coach at UNOH. They are the Racers. Welcome, Coach. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You and I were just talking. We've been focusing on, our early focus was on coaches who had moved to new schools. Obviously, you're not new at UNOH, but you're smack dab in a turnaround that honestly is going pretty well. I want to talk about that, but just talk about some of the success. Before we do that, talk about some of the success you had last season, getting the team to 500. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you had one of the best conference seasons also over the last 10 years at UNOH. Talk about the Racer season last year.
Yeah, we were very excited. Just like, when you're going through this rebuild and this process of flipping a program, obviously you want to be able to do it in 1 year, but sometimes that's just not how it goes. And so we took a lot of really positive steps, being able to win 15 games, which was the most in the last 10 years, and then making it to the conference semifinals. That was a big deal for us in our program and for our campus community and our community. So we built a lot of momentum, but on the other hand of that, as a competitor in this group of guys I got coming back, we also felt like we left a lot on the table.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really excited about, is that, we had a group of guys that, really committed to coming back in an era of college basketball where sometimes the grass is greener and you have a lot of transfers and a lot of just turnover. We're one of those teams this year that I think we're really fortunate that we're going to have some real continuity, because we lost Ryan Archie, we lost Aiden Brown and Marquise Freeman, but, we bring back, outside of Ryan Archie, our top five scorers, and bring back a really great core, that I think that we have a chance to do something really special.
Talk about I've been asking coaches about the basketball atmosphere at their school. What's your support like there at UNOH? And is there a lot of enthusiasm for basketball there? I mean, you compete in a very, very tough conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the WAC is a very good league. I think it's an underrated league, but as far as our environment, I think we have one of the best environments in the league. Our baseball team, they're awesome. I mean, they come out, all 80 of them, and they're just, bring great energy. And then we're starting to get some other teams involved in coming in, and our community starting to come around to the games. And so, obviously we're in a unique situation that we're a quarter school. So from Thanksgiving till basically January 4th, we're just students, or we're just athletes. We're the only, students on campus. So those, late November and mid-December games, we don't have a lot of fans at those because there's no students here. So, but when our students are here, they're at the games and
Okay.
they're providing a lot of support and there's a lot of great energy. We hosted a playoff game this year and that atmosphere was tremendous. And so, it's kind of the atmosphere just keeps building and building. And I say this and I tell our guys this: nobody likes supporting a loser. So once you start winning, more people are going to come, and we start seeing that. Like, more people are coming to our games as we're starting to put a better product on the floor. And again, so I'm really excited to see what year 3 has in store, because we've done a lot of work in the community that we think that we're going to start seeing some more community members come out and just see more community support as well for the program.
Coach, well, that's what I've seen all my life. It's a little bit of the, the, what is it, the chicken or the egg, people say, well, you lose your fans when you're not winning, and you do. And it never comes back right away. It's almost like people you got to kind of prove yourself. It takes a couple of years, and then you'll see, some of the fans start coming back, and then pretty soon you'll see the families come back and the kids. It's really important to get the kids and the high school kids, the junior high kids, because that builds fans in the community. But I think it's a tougher thing to get fans back than it is to actually turn the program around. Fans can be really, really fickle in a community, is what I've found.
Yeah, you got to create excitement. You got to create some juice, and then you just got to get them out to experience the magic. Once you get into the magic of the garage, you kind of get enamored with it. Like, yeah, this is, this is a great product. This is high-level basketball, high-level athletes. And so that's what we've been trying to do. I'm out, inviting people to games, and I tell them, hey, if you tell me you want to come to a game, I'll put you on the list for free. I don't care. I just want you in the games to support our guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because once you see our guys and you start to get to know them and you hear their stories and what they've overcome and what they're trying to do, then you get really excited. Like, how can I not support this group of guys? You know what I mean? And so I tell people, just come to a game, experience the magic, experience the energy, and then you're going to want to keep coming back because you're having so much fun at the games, and then our guys, like, they love the fans, you know what I mean? And they make sure to show love to the fans as well.
Yeah, I always say I think basketball is the most impactful sport on campus because, fans are right up close. You almost feel, everybody feels like they know everybody on the team because, they don't have a helmet on or anything. That you can see who they are. You can hear them talking to each other on the court. And then when you see them around campus, they stick out. Usually they're bigger, right? They're usually taller. And also basketball goes almost the entire school year when you look at it. So I think a healthy basketball program is one of the best things for a college campus. Coach, let's talk about your style of play and how that adds to it. You guys play fast. I don't remember exactly. You averaged 88 points or something last season. You just pounded the boards. I think you had one of the best rebounding seasons in the program history. But just describe your philosophy and how you guys play.
Yeah, if I can sum it up into 6 words, is we press, we run, we shoot. And so we're going to play a fast tempo. We want to play a relentlessly attacking system, offensively and defensively. We're gonna pressure the basketball. I think a lot of teams say they want to play fast, or that they're going to play fast, but like they don't. We're one of those teams that we do play fast, and we're going to do it efficiently. So if we could play fast, I think 24% of our possessions or 25% of our possessions were in transition. But if we're not being efficient in those possessions,
right,
it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And so that was, for us, a big focus is making sure we were efficient, which we were. I think we're top 5 in the country in transition points this year. And obviously, I think if we could have shot the 3 ball a little bit better, we go from where we're, averaging 86 a game to maybe 92 a game. And so there's some things that we really worked on this spring, and our guys have been in the gym that, I'm excited to see, how strong we can be offensively this year. We know we had to make some tweaks to our shot profile in order for us to continue to get better. But again, for us, we're going to attack the glass, we're going to attack the rim, and then defensively, we're going to get after you. We're going to make sure you feel our presence all over the floor.
You and I've talked before, but Coach Moore jokingly said that UNOH, they guard you so tight that they guard people going to the concession stand. That's the line I've stolen, but it's that's a good reputation to have, by the way. But when you bring guys in, you want to play fast, and then you want to play this smothering defense. You bring transfers and young guys in. Which is the tougher to get guys to buy in, understand, and execute?
Young guys, for sure. For me, transfers, they typically, I've had more success with transfers as far as them getting it. I think that the toughest part for transfers with us is our offense and understanding the shot profile.
Oh, really?
That we want them to have.
Okay.
Because we're getting a lot of junior college kids, and we're trying to hone in some things that in a junior college game, you've got a lot more possessions than in a game than what we have. And so they can take some bad shots in a junior college game and thinking, we can get that right back. But in our level, in our game, you can't take a bad shot. Like, every possession matters. Rent is due every possession. And so, defensively, and the same thing with defensively, part of the reason why we were 15-15 this year, we averaged 86 a game, but shoot, there are some games we couldn't guard a trash can, or we didn't want to guard a trash can. It wasn't the fact that we couldn't do it, because we could. There was multiple times we could do it. We were just inconsistent in some things. And so that's where I say, like, we left a lot out on the table, but we had, I think, 9 games where we lost by, I think, 6 or less points or something like that. Yep. And so the margin from being and I say this, we were a very talented team last year. If you talk to people in our league, there's some that would say that we were probably the most talented team in our league, right? I wouldn't put us as a good team because we weren't consistent. When you look at these good teams in our league, like Indiana Tech and Cornerstone and Lords and Madonna and Rochester and Lawrence Tech, they were consistent. For us to take that next step as a program, we've got to be consistent. And that's been, our challenge to our group all spring, and it's going to be our challenge all fall, is, hey, we've got to be some everyday dudes. We're going to show up every day, regardless of circumstances, and being the best version of ourselves. And if we can do that, right, our consistency with our talent, we have a chance to do something really special, but that's going to be, our big challenge is, can we be consistent in our process every day?
As you build your culture and build this consistency, how much does it mean to have these returners coming back?
Oh, it means everything. I think, like, last year, it was unique because we brought in such a big group of talent that we knew that then we had the talent to compete in the league. But we had so many new pieces playing in so many bigger roles that it took some time for us to get adjusted. Now in year 2 for a lot of these guys, these transfers I had last year, it's their second year. There's not going to be that adjustment period of going through the league and understand, okay, hey, the WAC, that's legit basketball. Going through the conference, it's tough, and that grind, and understanding what my expectations are. And so I think this year we're really poised to have a big year, because most times transfers do their best with me in their second year, and so the fact that we've got this big group of guys that have 2-3 years of experience with me, plus we only have about 3 transfers coming in, our freshmen, who I think have a chance to be good, but these transfers, we don't have as many transfers coming in to play those bigger roles, this year. And so I'm excited about the group that we have coming in. But, like I said, our core coming back, I think, sets us up to be really, really special.
That's interesting. You talked about, one time, having been through the conference a couple of times. I've said that I should say that that's been an observation of mine over the last billion years, is when a guy comes in, regardless of how good they are, they need to go through the conference and walk in these gyms and play one time before they really understand it. No matter what people tell them. So for instance, the first time you walk into Eastern Oregon or to College of Idaho, or for somebody to walk into Oregon Tech, they can be told, but they just never know what to expect. And I'm sure it's the same for Madonna and Cornerstone, and those schools in the WAC.
Yeah. Well, it's just, we've got some really good teams. We've got some really good coaches. You know what I mean? And you can't overlook anybody. Like, you can have 1.5 bad weeks in the league, and that could do you in for your season as far as being able to compete for. Yeah. I look at what our season was. We had 2.5 bad weeks. Those 2.5 bad weeks cost us to where we were a 7 seed. So we had to play 3 games in 3 days to get to the conference semifinal. So we didn't have fresh legs like a Cornerstone when we met up with them. We instead of being at 15, we're at 15 wins, and when we could have been at 18 to 19 wins. 18 to 19 wins puts us in a conversation for an at-large. Don't know if we get one, right? And so again, but that was from having 2.5 bad weeks, and so that's a Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, So again, for us, consistency on those hard days, because when you get into those dog days of December and January, those are the days that we got to make sure we're locked in. And so and that's where our challenge of being a quarter school comes in. You know what I mean? When everybody else is still on break, right after the new year, our guys are right back in the class January 3rd, and so it's definitely a different challenge for our guys with that. And it's something that I had to learn from this year as a coach, to be like, okay, how can I prepare our guys better for those early January games, which is really where you look at our season. January is when we hit our rut. You know what I mean? I think we only went 2-6 in January. And so I had to be a better coach, and I've learned some things and learned to adapt. And so, but I'm itching to get back and excited to get to work with this group.
You're going to open up October 24th and 25th. Great Lakes Christians come and use to coach over there, and then Bryan and Stratton. A couple home games to kick it off. What would you say to the students and the community and the fans there? Tell them what to expect when they walk into the gym in late October, and why they need to come and support this program.
I mean, they're gonna see a group of guys that love this school, love this community. You see a group of guys that loves each other. They're going to be special. They're going to be connected. And so, you don't want to miss out on the show, because it's going to be a lot of fun. We're planning on some big things, bringing food trucks in, probably going to do a free pizza night as well for the students. And so, we're going to hype this up. We're excited to kick this season off. I know last year we had Shawnee State come into our gym, and this year to bring Great Lakes Christian over. My former assistant and player is the head coach over there at Great Lakes Christian.
Oh, that's cool.
And so really cool moment for me to be able to coach against him and his program. He's doing such a great job over there since he took over for me. And so it's really going to be a really fun night for me to be able to have the opportunity to coach against my former player. And then a bunch of my guys that played for me at Great Lakes Christian are actually flying in to come be there for the game as well. So it's going to be a real family feel, but it's also going to be really exciting to get between the lines and compete and play some high-level basketball.
Well, I just want to add to that, fans around town, especially around campus, get out to these games. This is really high-level basketball. Not only the Racers, but the WAC is one of the toughest conferences in the country, and everybody knows it's been scientifically proven NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America. You got to get out and support these Racers. This is going to be exciting basketball, Coach.
Oh, it will be, and I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the community does for us and coming out to support this group of guys. And like I said, I couldn't be more excited for this year. I think the Racers have something special brewing.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you giving a few minutes, and we'll definitely get you back on when the season gets going here. The rubber hits the road here pretty soon, and I look forward to talking to you more when the season gets going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
That's Rich Westerlund. He's the head men's basketball coach, UNOH Racers. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Coach Westerlund as well as UNOH. I really appreciate his time. Hey, we'll be back with you. We got one more show this week. Remember, right now we're going Monday through Thursdays. Tomorrow, Tyler Ojanen. He's the head men's basketball coach at OUAZ. So join us tomorrow. Thanks a lot for listening. This Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Talk to you tomorrow. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.